Right now, we want to take a break from looking at all these images scattered across South Florida to take some time to speak with Vice President Mike Pence. He is live at FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C. Vice President, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. All this station, citizens informed and out of harm's.
And we are having some issues there with the picture out of Washington, D.C., but we're going to try to stick with this, Mr. Vice President. If you can hear us, I want to ask you a little bit about what is going on there right now. I know you're joined there by the cabinet members. How are you all monitoring what's happening here in South Florida and what will happen throughout the rest of the state, throughout the rest of the day?
Well, directed me and members of the cabinet to come to FEMA immediately upon our return from Camp David. And I have been monitoring the progress of Hurricane Irma, and now that beginning to enormous of this storm are of the people of Florida, us here to ensure, as he's directed, that the full resources of the federal government are being brought to bear to support the efforts of Governor Rick Scott, state officials and local officials. But my message to your viewers is very simple, and that is just this continues to be a very dangerous. Miami obviously has experienced impacts of this storm that won't be quite understood until it passes, and so we just continue to urge your citizens, as you have so many times, as Governor Scott has, of your state and local officials, put your safety, your family's safety, vulnerable people around you first as you shelter in place. Know that we are with you, and we're going to see through the life-saving mission that's underway now, and after Hurricane Irma passes, we're going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with the people of Florida, the people of Miami, as you recover and rebuild.
Vice President Pence, we just want to let our viewers know, because your audio signal is coming in and out there, that we are experiencing some of the worst of the weather right now. So we do hope that our viewers and our listeners on the radio stick with us and stick with you so they can hear the message that you were sending from the federal government. For those of us here in South Florida, 25 years ago, Hurricane Andrew, many people remember when Kate Hale from the Data Emergency Management Office said, "Where is the cavalry on this?" talking about the federal government. It was 3 days after Andrew. How long do you anticipate that it will take before we can see some of that help from FEMA come down here to the affected areas?
Well, what I can tell you is that at President Trump's direction, we've already pre-positioned thousands of federal officials, whether it be FEMA, whether it be Department of Defense, Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, and as this storm mission, that even as we speak, we have assets in place to engage in life-saving efforts in the Keys, but at last, the winds are still too able to move the rescue mission. But once it's there, I can assure you that we'll be on the ground to make sure that individuals and, frankly, businesses as well that have been impacted by this storm have access to the resources and the support that the American people have provided for our citizens in moments like this.
And while we have all been keeping an eye on Irma for several days now, we of course have been also keeping an eye on what's happening in D.C. and the federal budget. And I know that there might be some concerns for our viewers and people here in Florida as well as Texas. Is this really going to stretch the federal resources thin? You're talking about two massive disasters in two of the three biggest states in the nation.
Well, it truly is extraordinary, but I have to tell you, being here at the FEMA Center, having attended briefings over the course of this weekend with President Trump, we couldn't be more proud of state and local officials in Texas and, as we speak, here in Florida for the efforts that are underway. And frankly, we couldn't be more proud of the efforts of everyone from our Coast Guard to FEMA to Health and Human Services. We are up to this task. The American people have provided and provide the resources to meet this storm. And as I just delivered a message to our briefing here at FEMA, President Trump's directive to all of our federal officials across the nation in support of this effort is wherever Hurricane Irma goes, we will be there first. We will have the resources and the support to come alongside families that are in, and we will see our way through to recover and rebuild bigger and better than ever before.
Mr. Vice President, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us from FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C. A welcome message for the people in these areas that are going to be hardest hit by Hurricane Irma. Thank you.
We surely appreciate it. Thanks.